If I could turn this upside down, it would work. This thing right here, this is pretty close. Wow. Noah was a preacher. What do preachers do for a living? He preached righteousness. See, it had to be discouraging. Noah preached for years, literally hundreds of years, the unrighteousness and the ungodliness of the day. And in the meantime, he built an ark. Wow, that's an amazing thing. I had myself a note. If God needed an ark today, it would not be good to call on me. I could build. That's not the issue. It's that it would not float. I just have to make it tall so that it's stuck out of the water. That would be my thing. That would be the thing that would get us. I wondered, and I think we were talking about this the other day. Somebody said there was a modern day movie about Noah. I haven't seen it. Could you imagine today what it would be like if God told you? What would it be like today if God told you, I'm coming, I'm bringing destruction, you got to get ready? See, that's exactly what he did in chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24, Jesus himself says to every father in this room, I am coming, and I'm going to come quickly. And it's going to be at a time, and see, yesterday I went to a wedding. 2 days before that, I went to a funeral. We're eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. We're living our lives. We're watching TV. And we're watching as people 2 hours away in either direction lose everything they have. And we watch it on TV and we go, wow, it's like watching a movie. It's like I'm unconnected to that. Life is just rolling along. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what God is saying to us. When life is just rolling along, you've got to be ready because sudden destruction will come. And if you're not watching, if you don't have an eye on the sky, you will not know it. Our ushers have their eyes on the sky because they came in and said, hey, it's about to rain and there's a lot of windows down in that parking lot. I don't know how many people got up. I saw several people moving there during the offering. I hope they had an usher at the door just to catch them coming and going. I don't know. Some of you just thought it was a great opportunity to avoid the offering plate. My windows could be down. I'll run check. Start a weekly event. Check the windows during the offering. Check the windows. See, when you got the word, storm is coming, windows are down, you move. You acted based on the words of men who could see. And I'm telling you, God can see further than that. And when God tells us, we better get ready. And he's telling the men, that's the whole deal of today. This is Father's Day, man, and not Mother's Day. This is Father's Day. So I ain't preaching to women. I'm preaching to men. If Noah's entire career, because he was a preacher of righteousness, who on the side built boats, really only one. He had a prototype, never caught on. Really, it did. They're called barges. They run all the time. How would you describe Noah's career? I have lived with this struggle in my life. I have lived with this struggle in my own life. Someday, and it's probably not all that far away when you think about the realm of years, in not too many years, I will not be a preacher anymore. I'll either die of a heart attack like Tim Russert and fall over, or I will get old and get kicked out, at the appropriate time, or Jesus will come back. But I'm not going to be a preacher forever. Some event will bring my career to a close, and I wonder what will be said of me. Noah kind of got bailed out by God because his preaching career didn't amount to a whole lot when you think about it. Can't really say he had many converts. He had animals. I wouldn't mind being a preacher to animals. They can't talk back. If they do, you don't know what they're saying. Pretty irrelevant. Here, eat. I don't know what you said. Don't bother me. Being a preacher of animals wouldn't be all that bad. But he didn't do so good with humans. But Hebrews 11, you know what Hebrews 11 is? The roll call or the roll of the heroes of our faith. Noah's in there. He didn't win very many people, but look at what it says in Hebrews 11:7. By faith, Noah prepared an ark for the saving of his household. Noah prepared an ark for the saving of his household. By that same ark, he condemned the world. And by that same ark, life bridged from one side of the flood to the other. Noah was pretty successful. I said last Sunday night in here, I was giving my annual report, and we had some areas that were good and we had some areas that weren't so good. But I said, as I stand before you and give my report, I could look back to the back and see both of my children sitting in church on a Sunday night. My wife was sitting where she always sits, faithful supporter of her husband. If I don't get anything else done, whenever I'm done on this earth, and I'd love, I don't know how it's going to work, but at judgment, I think I would like for all the pastors to have all the people with them that was from their church for all of the time, all of their history, all of their career. I would think that would not be such a bad thing. You realize there's some guys that would have thousands and thousands of people there. Others would have a handful. But I will tell you who I want to be first in line behind me. Her. And behind her, my daughter. And behind her, my son. If we make it, I have done well. Dad, how's it going to line up at your house? If you do not build an ark for the saving of your household, does it really matter if you witness anywhere else? Yeah, sure it does. Save your household. That's what Noah was put in the book for doing. I'm sure he was faithful. I'm sure he preached the word. But nobody else listened. And no one else may listen. But my job is to save my household. Well, I'm going to get back to the zookeeper part. Noah was an unpopular zookeeper in his day. Now you realize this play we went to see, they put story in that we don't know. It was good, and it all made sense. It kind of filled in some of the blanks. But Noah wasn't a very popular zookeeper. I'm just going to read 2 verses. Genesis 6:19 and 20. Of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark. To keep them alive with you, they shall be male and female, procreation afterwards. Of the birds after their kind, of animals after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after their kind. 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. I like that last line. I don't know that I've ever even noticed that last line, but do you see that? Because this is one of the questions people have. How in the world could Noah have gathered all those animals? Noah didn't have to. Now at the play, while I wasn't thinking about it, we were thinking about it because they had trained those animals. They would just run across the stage and go into the ark. And I'm sure they starved them all day, showed them a bowl of food and said it'll be in the ark. And I don't know how they train them, but those animals knew when they let them go that if they would run and go up in the ark, they'd get a prize. I don't know what the prize was. But I thought about that and I said, I'm not really sure how they did that. So I read those verses and then I was really sure. God said, the animals will come to you for you to keep them alive. How many of you remember the big tsunami in Indonesia? How many of you remember hearing about that? Do you remember that there were people saved